Hey, John here. So I got this yard machine in here by MTD. It's actually just had this a couple weeks ago for some other reason, but the customer complaint is that he thinks the transmission's slipping. He thinks there's something wrong with the transmission because it's clunking. So I have a feeling it's just a drive belt. This particular machine has two drive belts, one from the engine to a pulley midway, and then one from that pulley midway. It's a double pulley. It goes back and spins your transmission. Anyways, this one's probably going to be an easy one. The first thing we're going to need to do is take that center plate off, lift the seat, get the battery out, and this should be pretty straightforward. Alright, so there's two screws here you remove and unscrew these knobs. So this is what's going on. Like I said, you see a double pulley. There's a crack right there. So this belt is almost in half. I don't know if you can see that. It's literally there's two big cracks right there. So I'm assuming the whole belt is cracked. It's probably the OG. Alright, the battery has a little tray in here that's just pressure fitted in. There's your back pulley. So you're going to need a 14-inch wrench and two 14-inch wrenches or an impact or something. This pulley I'm going to remove because it's easy to do. It is on a it's a tensioner, right? You see how that goes back and forth? All right, so we're going to get a 14-inch wrench on the nut underneath. Oops, there goes the light. Never enough light. That's probably right in the way. And a 14 on the top, and we'll zing that bolt right out. Hold the bottom bolt nut so it doesn't disappear. Uh-oh, got a wire in here. Got a wire that just came out from nowhere. Looks like a ground wire, but I'm not sure where that was. We'll figure that out in a minute. Got a lock washer on it too. Now we can slide this bolt out. Just try to... So your tension bar released, and this has a bushing on it, like just a bearing bushing. So all we had here was your bolt through a lock washer and a nut on the bottom, and your tensioner is on a spring, which is, I don't know if you can see that lever or not. It's over yonder here. It's just going to be easier to get this belt off without that pulley. So now we could slip this off the top. Now it's got a, unless you want to bend this belt keep out, which I do often, we can bend it out and then bend it back in. It's up to you, but it won't come off without that piece removed. And you can also probably remove, I don't know if this one's welded on or just a nut and a bolt, but there's no access. Well, there is access. You can get it from underneath, but it's a pain in the butt. Sometimes I just bend them just enough and then bend them back, and that's probably what I'm going to do in this case. All right, so the pulley we just took off was on a spring-activated lever system, and as you heard, it snapped back. So now there's no tension on this, and the belt's free, but we can just release this. There's a spring down here, right? That's let's see if we zoom in on that. Just around that little stud there. The spring is loose now because that arm is all the way off. Try to get in there with my hands. Yep. Just take it off the belt and let it rest down. Or take it off the stud there and let it rest down. Alright, so our next move, you see this shifter? The shifter rod there? It has to be disconnected from the side frame, right? Because our belt needs to slip. You see what a belt is up against the rail or up against the frame. You don't have to take the shifter rod out. We just need to get that mount off the side rail, and it's a pretty easy deal. It's not a big deal. It is just a couple 10 millimeter bolts right there, and you don't even need to take the wheel off. You can get a 1/4 inch socket in there, crack them loose, and then that should fall to the side. Now we can just kind of just swing that to the side there so we can get our belt right hand out of there. We'll get our belt away from that or over that piece. I don't know if that's coming out on camera because I'm over here, but that's where we're at. Actually, there is access. That's not too bad. You can go through the same wheel well, and with an 11 millimeter, instead of bending that rod, you could do whatever you want, but instead of bending that rod, it's 11 millimeter bolt on the belt keep rod. And we're not going to take the bolt the whole way off. We'll just loosen it up. But you can go, like I said, right through the wheel well or through here. If you reach underneath, you can get it on the stem. We're just going to loosen it up, and that should be enough to slide it by, maybe. Yeah, that should be enough. Yeah, just loosening that bolt up so we don't lose the nut and everything. We can tighten it right back up in a second here. Alright, so now that we got everything loosey-goosey, we can drag this belt out. Try not to take more wires with you. Let's see what we're stuck on here. See what we're stuck on. And it's just wrapped around that shifter mechanism. Alright, there's our belt. Still don't know what this wire goes to. We'll have to figure that out. That is, I was going to say that's the part number. No, it is not. That is 5/8 by 47.5. In case you want to go to Tractor Supply and get a 5/8 at 47.5. Good luck with that. This part number, it's actually on the hood there. I forgot what it is. You're going to have to look it up. But so we're going to start our new belt. Just that shifter, we're not going to go underneath, we're going to go on top of it and get it fed to the back, right? And now we can lift this belt up and put our shifter mechanism back in play. Before we tighten them two up, because our wrench is still there, we can tighten this one up. Oh, might want to put it on first. Slip your newfound belt by your pulley. There we go. Let me feed this to the back. We could tighten that up. And we could take the 10 and tighten up our shifter mechanism. I just the belt was above the piece I just put on, so I just undid the 10 millimeters again. Got that belt below the bracket. I don't know if you can see that in here. So while we're here, we'll just slip this on the pulley. There we go. All right, now we can put this bracket on for the second time. Again, it's easy to put on. You can see everything. You can get to everything. No big deal. The stem side, right? The stem bushing down, and then we'll just go in here, go on this side of the belt. to go a little further. This side of the belt. Get that in the hole. I just realized we're out of frame there. There's the pulley there. So it's probably easier to access it back here either way. We have to put the nut and bolt on, but it's not on the spring yet, right? So the spring is there you get a washer. The spring is unhooked still. Let me go get a lock washer and we'll put this nut and bolt on. You can see it better from here, but there's more access in the front to get that nut on from here instead of reaching in here. Alright, so once you got that tightened down, you can see in here we can drag this pulley, right? That's how it gets tension. So the end of that arm, one end of that arm, you can't see any of this, but one end of the arm, a spring goes on, one loop of the spring goes on the arm, and one loop of the spring goes on, which is, we already showed you that one. That nut, or the bolt sticking out there. Where is it? Try to hold this still right there. That bolt sticking out, that's the other end. Is that the bolt? Yes, it is. So that's the bolt, and we're just going to reach under there. So taking this wheel off is definitely the way to go. You can definitely get to it a lot easier. Now it's just a matter of pulling it on and letting it go. Right? Life is easy when you got the right tool. Alright, so most likely the hardest part of this job for anybody is going to be the spring. Right? The spring, if you don't have a spring tool, you can use a string, but even so, sometimes them springs can be a pain. Otherwise, this went fairly quick, easy to do. I guess taking both wheels off would be easier to get to this, you know, for the bracket over here on the end of this, as well as you know, getting a spring tool in there. And taking the wheels off is easy enough. Just need a jack, really. All right. So, anyways, we'll start this thing up, see if it works, see if the noise went away. I'm 100% positive it did, because that belt was toast. Anyways, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. See you next time.